Die Hachandeo Kyagan. Die Hachandeo Kyagan. Die Hachandeo Kyagan. Die Hachandeo Kyagan. 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 Kyagan.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nick the Rat Radio, episode 540. It is Wednesday, it is May 20th, 2026. We have a fun show for you tonight. Trying to get my YouTube numbers up, so we're going to talk about how to make YouTube shorts and the best way to do it. Apparently, they don't like long titles in it. Let's watch my last short that I just put out. It's from Jim Raynor. We're just going to do this really quick. This already, I put this out about an hour ago, and it already has a shitload of views. So let's.
What will Jim Raynor say today?
God damn it, Kerrigan's on her period again. Except with her, it ain't blood. It's fucking Zerg creeping, mutant eggs dripping everywhere. The whole damn hive smells like rotten, infested guts. No way am I sticking my dick in that bioweapon pussy tonight. Guess this rebel's stuck making the Cyclops cry to old hollow vids of her before she went full bug queen. Cheers to blue balls, boys. Ugh, man.
And that's what Jim Raynor said today.
So one thing I learned about shorts is I made one just like this. These get about 800 to 1,000 views each for no good goddamn reason. But I made one, I just called it like Jim Raynor Says Something. If I put a longer title, like I made one called, what did I call it here? Hold on, I gotta bring it up. It was just a long title about him talking about how Protoss don't have dicks or something. No, it's not midnight yet. So that only got like 5 views. So I think short titles in your YouTube shorts helps. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Nobody's listening to this podcast wondering about YouTube shorts. So there you have some useless information for you. I'm also not wearing pants tonight. Because why would I? I'm in the sewer all by myself. You think it's all just AI scraping? But it's weird that it only scrapes if it's got like no words in the title. I've been hearing a whole bunch of weird stuff about how YouTube works now, and like it looks for stuff you say in the video, not for your description or your title, but it's got to look for stuff in the title because I've just been doing variations to try to figure it out. It's like chasing shit rolling down a hill, hitting you in the face, because to get monetized with shorts, you need like 5 million views, which I don't think Jim Raynor's ever going to get me. So, and then even if I do hit that number, I'll get like $5 or something. It's really not worth it. The value for value method is the best way. God bless Adam Curry. I've put shorts up with, I've been making like, those naked girl ones, like Scaramanga's been teaching me. Been using the XAI. He uses Seed Dance. He's got the high quality stuff. I only got the Elon Musk bull crap. And I put some like late for Irish Day, for St. Patrick's Day. I did in the background of me doing my daily report. Yeah, if you want to hear my daily reports, I do daily reports on YouTube Shorts. I post it all over the damn place too. Go to x.com/NickTheRat. I don't know how to get anybody to watch my stuff. I think I'm just bored. I think I need to start looking harder for a job. I'm not applying enough. I'm starting to go crazy. A little bit. You know what's really driving me crazy? Oh, you know what happened, Radix? That Casio you so generously sent to my P.O. box? I was trying to go someplace the other day, and I got See, this is the problem with wearing a watch. When you're a goofy rat like me, you swing your arms around a lot. And I was looking at my phone in the heat because it was really hot in New York City, and I was trying to hide in the shade while I was looking at my phone trying to do something. And I moved my arm, and it hit like a stone wall. I was like, fuck. I got a big scratch on it. You know, it's a scar. Battle scars are cool. I still wear that one a lot, though. I like it a lot. It's really good. Thanks for that. Not wearing it tonight, though. I forgot. I don't even know where it is. I think it's on the floor somewhere. I've been sick. I didn't get mugged. Yeah, I got mugged for a Casio.
Give me a Casio, boy.
No, that didn't happen. Hey, Nam, how you doing? Hey, Radix. Hey, chat room. Hi, everybody. And if you want to go to the chat room, there's several ways to get to it. Go to nicktherat.com, click Twitter, go to Twitch, go all over. Yeah, now it's personalized. It's true. It's got a little flair to it. A little bit of flair. But this brings me to something that really pissed me off also. What I was looking for on my phone, I was looking at Google Maps. I was trying to get somewhere. And sometimes you're in the city and you're not getting your phone is like, it doesn't know which way you're pointing, and I'm like restarting the phone. It still wasn't getting it. I guess fucking T-Mobile or Google was spying on me bad or something. And so I'm like, you know what? I could look at the street sign. There's a street sign. I know where I am. Google Maps does not put street names on the fucking map. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. This really, really pissed me off. I was extremely, extremely mad at this. I could try it right now. Let me see if I go to Google Maps, if it tells me the name of the street that I'm on. Okay, for over here, it does. But when you go to a more populated area, it fills the map up with business names. So if you're in like Manhattan or in a major city, instead of putting the street names on the map, it's going to flood your goddamn map with businesses. Right now, I'm getting all the street names and I'm looking at it. I'm zooming in and I'm seeing street names. But I was like I wasn't even in Manhattan. I was in downtown Brooklyn. And none of the street names were coming up. So I'm like, I'm zooming in all the way on the thing. I'm trying to look for the street names and I could not find them. And apparently it's because they prioritize businesses over the street name. It is insanity. And there was no way to switch it off or turn it off or just say, hey, don't show me, don't advertise me. I just want to know where I am. So that pissed me off. That was yeah. I gotta calm down a little bit. I gotta calm down a little bit. Hold on. Okay, I'm better. Sometimes it's just good to get away from technology completely. Just put it all down, read a book or something. It sucks. It's a hellhole. We're building ourselves into a hellhole. And it's really horrible, horrible stuff. This also pissed me off too. Let me show you one more thing here. Let's go to the web view. We're gonna do it. I'm just going crazy tonight. Why the hell not? This really. Here, listen to this little clip here. This is from John Stewart show.
Palantir and OpenAI. Why does Palantir and OpenAI, and why do they get proprietary knowledge that is our knowledge that they stole from us, that they use to make but they're the ones who get all the money?
So I'm just going to leave the clip at that. The clip's longer, but basically John Stewart is mad that Palantir and they steal data, they get all the knowledge, and then they get all the money from doing it. I'm watching this clip, and I'm like, this is John Stewart on the John Stewart show. I wonder how many people behind the scenes it takes to make the John Stewart show. There's probably hundreds of people making this show, But John Stewart makes all the money. Doesn't John Stewart not realize that the people on the top take all the money just like he does? I'm sure the guy doing the lighting or hooking up the sound for him or filming him with the camera, everybody that makes John Stewart possible to be John Stewart does not make anywhere as much money as John Stewart. Does that make any sense to John Stewart? Maybe I should play the rest of this. Let me just play the rest of this clip here.
Why does Palantir and OpenAI, and why do they get proprietary knowledge that is our knowledge, that they stole from us, that they use to make but they're the ones who get all the money? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, listen, I agree. And I actually think that politically speaking, there's movement on the far left and on the far right.
This guy looks like he's wearing like some eyeshadow. I don't even know who this guy is. This is the rest of this clip's not very interesting. He just talks about Bernie Sanders wanting to tax robot work and stuff. If you have money to make the things, you have the thing. That's like saying, well, why does Mr. Toyota have all the money? It's because fucking... That's Mr. Toyota. You know, if you make it, it will come. Just like John Stewart gets paid all the money. Palantir did all the work. They got all the stuff. You know, they did the thing. I'm sure. What about the boss of Palantir? Probably makes more money than the people in the business. Why doesn't the rich Palantir pay all the employees fairly? Why doesn't Amazon and Google take all their stock prices and all the money they have in the stock market and give it to the people working in the company? Why not? I wonder why. That's not how shit works, man. Been watching that robot guy. There's a channel with a robot that does packaging. Basically, it's a robot that flips. It looks at a package and it flips it so the scanner side is down. Sometimes it'll flip the package off. And there's thousands of people watching this robot work at any given time. It's forget his name. What is that? Watch robot work. I can't watch Roblox. No, robot work. I bet you could find it just by typing that in. Yeah, here he is. There's a live stream going right now. 1,000 people are watching Frank do work right here. And he fucked that package up. He didn't even put the label down. Also, he had a race with a human. This robot, Frank, who is like a humanoid robot. Why it's humanoid makes no goddamn sense. And why does he need to recharge makes no goddamn sense. He could just be plugged in. Frank here could be plugged in and run 24/7, no vacations, no breaks, no pee breaks, no health, medical insurance or anything. But he doesn't need to be a human. Doesn't need to be humanoid. They could just have a thing that has cameras and little flippers. Flip, 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 flip. They can make the... And there's 1,000 people watching this guy. And apparently he also had... What company is working on here? Like... I don't know who he's working for, this Frank guy, but he's not wearing the uniform of whoever he's working for. Is it UPS? Is this Amazon? Is this an airport? Is this FedEx? Is this some Chinese company? I don't know who Frank is working for. Sometimes he throws packages off the thing. Some human had a race with him, and the human was able to do it a little bit faster than him. Frank the robot was able to do like 2.8. He's like, oh, fuck that one. He could like do 2.8 packages per minute or second or some shit, and the human was able to do 2.7. But you know, the human needs health insurance and all that shit. I don't know how much Frank cost to do whatever he's doing. I'm sure they can make him cheaper. And there's people watching him. Like right now, we're just watching him too. Go, Frank, go. Flip those boxes. There you go, Frank. Great work. No reason for him to be humanoid. Is he taking our jorbs? Would you really want this job? Would you want to drive to a factory and flip packages all day? Maybe you would. I think you might want to kill yourself after like doing this for a week. Nice flip. That was a cool flip. Yeah, you fucked that up, Frank. You fucked it up again, Frank. There you go. Push it along. Like, how much would you get paid to flip these packages? Is this $10 an hour at work? Is this $20 an hour at work? Did you really go to school to do this? Are you scared that your job of flipping boxes is going to be robbed? Maybe I should actually, because I might only be able to get a job flipping boxes soon. I don't know. He did 2 packages that one. He's like, fuck it, get out of here, get the fuck out of here. All right, let's turn Frank off. It is mesmerizing to watch this. Like it's kind of cool. He's got more people watching him than me, so maybe I should. All right. Let's take a quick break. And we're going to get into a new conspiracy that I have. It's pretty crazy. It's going to blow your mind. I don't think you're going to be able to handle it. So get a bucket, because your brains are probably going to melt and fall out of your ears. But first, we're going to listen to a song before all that happens. We have Zillion Instruments with Knobs from the Future. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. No more Frank. All right, we're gonna let me start off with this news article here with a horrible AI newsreader. I just thought it was really funny that the newsreader for this is really bad. So I'm just gonna play this clip right here, and this is gonna get us into the thick of things. So let's just.
What seemed like a story of hope has ended in tragedy. The famous humpback whale that thrilled Germany after being rescued after weeks trapped has been found dead near Denmark, a Sodmark. The case has already sparked international controversy and reopened the debate about how far humans should intervene to save wild animals.
Wild animals. How they should save wild animals. The whale beached himself somewhere in Germany. Wild animals. Why wouldn't we try to help a beached whale, even though it died either way? I guess it was a waste of taxpayers' money, I guess. But let's listen to the rest of this. I wonder if it has anything else in it. Can I do a recap, Ned? We basically explained life and how we all got here, but you'll have to listen to it later.
The whale, nicknamed Timmy by German media, although it has also...
Why did they name it Timmy? Is that a real German name? Is Timmy a German name, or are they trying to make fun of this whale? Like, Timmy! He beached himself, so he must be stupid and retarded. Timmy! That's a great name.
Been called. First appeared on March 23, trapped on a sandbank in the Bay of Wismar on the Baltic.
Wait, is this real? Is this not AI? Because he was like, it sounded like he screwed up there. It sounded like a human flub.
Sandbank in the Bay of Wismar on the Baltic Sea coast, T-coast. Since then, rescue teams have tried on multiple occasions to free it.
Jeez.
But the situation became increasingly complicated. The animal appeared weak, disoriented, and had difficulty returning to the open ocean.
Returning.
Even so, after weeks of efforts, German authorities managed to transport it on a huge barge to the North Sea, where it was...
How much did that cost? How much did transporting a whale on a huge barge? Like, this whale is... He was trying to kill himself, and we're like, hey, we'll save you. Don't worry, we'll save you. Like, was it DNS? Do not resuscitate? This is super janky. This is... I gotta check out more of this guy's videos.
Finally freed on May 2. The scene was watched by thousands of people who celebrated the rescue as a symbol of hope. However, just 2 weeks later, the whale's body appeared floating near the Danish island of Anholt between Sweden and Denmark. At first, there were doubts about whether it was really the same whale. But Danish authorities confirmed its identity thanks to the tracking device that...
Oh, this is an Indian guy doing a voice changer. I think this is because it totally went... I heard an Indian voice in there.
But Danish authorities confirmed its identity thanks to the tracking device that was still attached to the animal's back. The case is now causing controversy. Some experts believe that the whale was already too weak from the beginning and that insisting on saving it only prolonged its suffering. Others argue that the rescue was necessary and that abandoning the animal would have been ethically unacceptable. For now, Danish authorities have reported that there are no concrete plans to remove the body or perform an autopsy. They have also warned the public to stay away from the carcass.
Might explode.
This is because a dead whale can represent considerable health risks, including the potential for communicable diseases and even explosions resulting from the accumulation of gases within the body. Timmy's story kept Germany on edge for weeks, and although the outcome was sad, it also raised an uncomfortable question: to what extent can human intervention really change the fate of nature?
I gotta see if there's more videos. Yeah, I heard that the dead body could blow up from the built up gas and be really gross. But there's communicable diseases in there too. Okay, I gotta see the rest of the videos on this guy's channel. Is it all the same voice?
The dog that Japan gave to Vladimir Putin has died.
What?
Yumin was no ordinary pet. She became a diplomat symbol starred in viral moments in front of world leaders and for more than a decade accompanied the Russian president during some of the most tense
I did not know that. When did Japan give him this dog? What happened to the dog? Did Putin eat the dog?
Moments between Russia and Japan. Isigan Yum, whose name means dream in Japanese, arrived at the Kremlin in 2000.
She farted. Did you hear the fart?
Means dream in Japanese. Arrived at the Kremlin in 2012 as a very special gift for Vladimir Putin. The famous Akita Inu was given by Japanese authorities as a thank you to Russia for the humanitarian aid sent after the devastating earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan in 2011.
Did Japan really give him a lemon? She's like, here's a dog. It dies a week later. When did he get this dog?
Then, the dog quickly became an international figure, and her most memorable moment occurred in 2014. During the official visit of then Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo to Russia, while cameras
2014.
were recording the meeting, Yumi began to bark intensely at the Japanese leader.
And the KGB snuck in and killed that sucker. Shut up! Don't interrupt our president here. All right. Well, back to the Timmy the Whale, though. Let's get to the. I'm getting sidetracked by Excelsior news. Actually, I gotta see more. There's more Excelsior here. What else they got here? This is a landmine. I didn't even know about this. Fishermen worried by strange jellyfish presence. That actually might tie in with what I'm about to talk about. Yeah. But let's start with the whales, because that's where this all starts from. All right, and nobody's really talking about what's really happening. They're talking about if humans should help the whales if they're stranded on the beach, if they should go off there and do that stuff. But ever since 2023, there's been so many whale deaths, not one or two. Not just a beach here or there. Global surge and mass strandings. There's been a ton of them since 2023. I think since February, 2025 to now, there's been, I think it was either this year or last year. I'm not too sure. Over 150 false killer whales died on a remote beach in Tasmania, Australia. And that was just one event, one beach. Over 150 of them. The whales. In 2024, 77 pilot whales died on the island of Orkney in Scotland. All of them in a single standing. All of them. All at once. Same year, the International Fund for Animal Welfare responded to over 500 marine mammal strandings on Cape Cod alone. All in 1 year. And this is all over the past couple of years here. I got an infographic that I got to show later, but we'll get to the infographic later. These whales are just dying in mass recently, and they're like killing themselves. And guess what the official Cotton Gin, have you seen any dead whales anytime recently? There you go. I'm about to tell you, I'm going to blow your mind tonight, because the official answer, climate change, offshore wind, unusual tides, bad weather, a whole bunch of like shenanigans, baloney, poppycock, garbage, baloney. They rotate through this list too, and none of it really explains anything. It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain why everywhere at once, at this big scale, why it's happening now. But here's something that's not controversial at all. This is just documented marine science. Military sonar. You ever hear of military sonar? I wonder if that kills whales. Yeah, it does. Military sonar does kill whales. It's not a theory. It's peer-reviewed. Mid-frequency active sonar causes decompression sickness in beaked whales. Climate change. Low-frequency sonar causes hemorrhaging. Unusual tides. And when the Navy runs these sonar exercises, whales beach themselves to get away from the noise. It's like, imagine blasting like some garbage music into your head, all like listening to Eurovision or some shit. Kill me now. This has been studied. It's been known. Everybody knows that it's true. So then the question becomes, what's sonar and who's sonar? And why is it happening everywhere at the same time? Well, where did this Timmy get killed? Let's go to the Baltic Sea. Something is happening in the Baltic Sea. All right. I think I should get up the infographic now. I need an infographic. Where's my? Can I load a picture here? Image. Yeah, let me get up an image here. I gotta sneeze. I'm not feeling so hot, but I'll get through the show. Don't worry. All right, here's the image. Bop. Skibbity bop boop. Boop. Beep. Bam. Boo. Look at this picture right here. Cancel. Okay. Look at this picture. It's a beautiful picture. Where am I? I'm even more beautiful. I should be here. There we go. That's me. Choo, whoop. And then IRC should be on top of that too. Pop. And now you can't see the. Okay, let's. I should have had this all worked out earlier, but whatever. It's whatever. Who cares? Yes, I am sick. I went to some nerd cave on Sunday, and I think that's where I got sick. Last night, it's probably hentai. I got the hentai virus. Big boob ladies. Okay, let me get back to the story here. You probably heard about these cables. November 2024, 2 undersea internet cables in the Baltic Sea are cut within 24 hours of each other. One connecting to Finland to Germany. I don't know where I'm pointing to. I'm not a good weatherman. One was connecting to Sweden to Lithuania. Both of them go dark overnight. Everyone is looking at Russia. Russia. Then there's a Chinese cargo ship, the Yiping 3. They flag that. Everybody's like, oh, it's Russia, it's the Chinese. It left a Russian port just days before the maritime tracking put it at the exact time and place of both breaches. Now, NATO countries, they send warships to shadow it. They go check it out. But they can't board it because it's international waters, not territorial waters. So the ship just sits there for weeks. No one's charged. Nothing's proven. Nobody knows anything. This is all shady in the dark stuff here. Then Christmas Day of 2024, the EST Link 2 power cable between Estonia and Finland goes down. And then a Russian oil tanker from the so-called Shadow Fleet drags its anchor for close to 100 kilometers along the seafloor. They board the ship, they detain it, and they still can't fully explain why an anchor drag went on that long. That precisely hitting that cable. You heard Putin personally killed Timmy by feeding him chocolate? Perhaps they're Sunards. And this isn't even new, by the way. This is going back to 2022, the Nord Stream pipeline explosion off of Denmark. And then another pipeline cable in 2023. Then November 2024 cuts. Then Christmas. Then the Red Sea cables in 2025. Every single time. Nobody really knows why it happened. They blame floats. They blame this. They blame that. They blame climate change. They blame fucking everything. But nobody seems to get in trouble. Nobody pays the price. Baloney. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. When an undersea cable, when it gets cut, okay, you think it's not the whales, Cotton Gin. I don't know what you're drinking tonight, but that's not it. What happens after they cut the cable? The cable guy shows up. Cable repair shows up. They have to. They're specialized vessels. They got deep sea ROVs, sonar equipment. They got the legal authority to spend weeks to do whatever the hell they want, hovering over the section of the ocean floor. Nobody's questioning them. Nobody stops them. There's not a YouTube channel watching them. There's no Twitch. There's no live stream of what they're doing. They're just like, oh, they're fixing the cables, whatever. But you ever think what else a cable repair ship could be doing while it's down there? What could they be doing? I don't know. Let's go to January 14th. Let me get this map. But this map is a great map. These are all the cuts that happen. Here's all the timeline. Look at it. Study it. I could put this somewhere. so you can get it later. You go to my Twitter account or some shit, X, whatever. Let's get rid of this picture here. Pop. Okay, let me get me back. Where am I? Okay. Basically, it was a picture of all the whole bunch of cable cuts that were going on in the Baltic Sea over a very small timeline. And during this timeline, January 14th, 2025, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, he launches what they're calling the Operation Baltic Sentry. You could look this up. I'm not just pulling this shit out of my asshole. I could pull shit out of my asshole. I've done it before. I once did a whole episode about dragons flying over Brooklyn. That was real too. But I'm just saying. The public justification is protecting critical undersea infrastructure. Cables, pipelines, all this bullshit down there. After all these cuts, though, NATO says it's deploying a task force to make sure it doesn't keep happening. But what does this task force actually look like? Frigates, submarines, surveillance aircraft, naval drones on the surface, unmanned underwater vehicles on the seafloor, an AI-enabled seabed mapping system running around the clock, and something they're calling Task Force X. It's a new experimental unit they describe openly as an operational laboratory for next-generation autonomous systems. All right? We got people down there. There's people down there doing some serious stuff. Let's see. I think around June of 2025, 4 sail drone autonomous surface vessels were deployed to the Baltic for about 2 weeks to continuously surveil the operation. They ran for about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't have to pee. They don't have to poop. They weren't humanoid. That would be retarded to make humanoid robots. It's dumb. The press they release from the sail drones. The press release, I'm sorry. The press didn't release from the sail drone. That would be weird if the sail drones were shooting out press. They're like, oh, this is 100% persistent surveillance coverage. We're looking for real-world dark targets. I don't know, maybe they're racist. Open source reporting describes Baltic Sentry as using ships, aircrafts, drones, artificial intelligence, and unmanned underwater vehicles to monitor the seabed, map cable routes, and identify suspicious activity. Changing consumer habits, basically. They're mapping the seabed. Now, I don't know if you remember me talking about the seabed recently. I've been talking about it a lot lately. I think there's so much going on underwater right now that it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff happening underwater. Remember, I was talking about the nodes. There's that what is that company called? The Canadian mining company. It's a good thing I didn't buy it yet because I don't think they're doing so well. Let me see if I could find that thing really quick here. Let me go to my trading account. What is it called? Like metal or some shit? Let me scroll down here. What are they at? TMC. They're currently at 507. Yeah, they've been hovering around $5 for a while now. So TMC, they're mining the seafloor. Okay, they're doing all this stuff down there, but they're cutting the cables now. So why are they cutting the cables? I want you to think about this here. They're saying that they're cutting the cables, and that's why they're sending all this stuff down there to monitor it. But if you were building maybe a secret next-generation ocean surveillance network, one that required deploying equipment on the seafloor, calibrating active sonar across a wide area, mapping every inch of the bottom, how would you get permission to do it without anyone asking any questions? You need a good reason to be there. An emergency. Something that would require months and months of military hardware flooding a relatively small body of water. What if maybe the cables being cut is the reason they're there? You just bought 10,000 shares, Dr. Surmacrotch? I'm sorry. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't do that. They're Canadian. I heard Canadian mining companies aren't worth it. I think you need to sit with that for a little bit. And I just want you to think about that. I'm not done. We're going to get into some crazy stuff. But now we know about the whales. We know about the cables. What else are we going to find about tonight on Nick the Rat Radio? You'll have to stay tuned for that. But let's listen to Nav Day with Feelings Don't Lie. We'll be right back.
I said I would be the one that you need, and when I needed me, I said I'd be on your side. I said I would ride or die for life, for life. I said I would try to keep us alive, but I died inside. I said I would be the one that you need, but I had to leave. When you first found me, you held me down and you drowned me in a world of sounds all around me. You would crown me as a queen, you made me sing in the songs I would sing about how you gave me everything, you gave me everything. You made me sing, and the songs I would sing about how you gave me everything. You gave me everything.
Welcome back, everybody, to Nick the Rat Radio, where we are knee-deep in a conspiracy. A sea of conspiracies. This is the conspiracy of the sea. And now I need to tell you all about DARPA's PAL program, because this shit is real, it's documented, and nobody is talking about it in this context at all, except Nick the Rat Radio. That's why you're here, because you are smart. Other people are not smart, the people that don't listen to this show. DARPA, which we all know stands for Duty Ass rip poo poo ass. I'm sorry, that's my notes are wrong here. The Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, they're the people that built the internet, put $45 million into a program called the Persistent Aquatic Living Sensors Program. PALS. I don't think DARPA is really your pal. Maybe the internet seems like they made it for porn, but they made it for spying on you. So, what PALS is, it's simple and crazy here. Instead of putting expensive metal sensors on the seaboard that need batteries and maintenance, why not use the ocean's own animals? Huh? Think about that. Fish already react when a submarine passes by. Shrimp already make sound. Coral reef ecosystems charge their acoustic signature when something disturbs them. Bioluminescent plankton light up when there's movement in the water. The whole goddamn ocean is living. It's like a big sensor. It's like a big computer chip. All right? This might sound crazy, but DARPA funded 5 research teams to figure out how to read those reactions, how to translate animal behavior into military intelligence data. Discrete, persistent, and highly scalable. I wonder if there's anything about PAL's program on that channel. Hold on, let me see if I could find anything on that weird Excelsior website. I doubt it. If there's something, yeah, there's nothing about that there. Is there any videos we could watch about this? From 5 months? There's a couple of things out there. That's a long video, though. We're not going to watch that whole thing. But yeah, it's happening. You could look into this. It's real. Persistent aquatic living sensors. You ever hear that? Bet you haven't. Now you know because you're listening to Nick the Rat Radio. I'm dying here. All right, we're gonna make it through. DARPA funded all of this shit. One team is tagging schools of Black Sea bass and measuring how they move when underwater vehicles pass through. We got another team that are using the snap of snapping shrimp as sonar. Another is monitoring coral reef sounds for anomalies. And DARPA just says this is all tapping into millions of years of evolution. Crazy, crazy stuff. But this is what really caught my little rat tail. DARPA's official guidelines for the program says, and I'm saying it exactly how they said it. The proposals must expressly forbid the use of intelligent mammals. Dolphins and whales are off limits. That's what they said publicly. But what I want you to think about, the PALS program was developed starting around 2017, 2018 to calibrate a living sensor network to teach the system what normal looks like so it could identify abnormal. You need to run active sonar pulses throughout the area. You need to map the baseline acoustic environment. You need high power signals sweeping across a wide zone so you can see how all these little sea creatures are reacting. What about the retard whales like Timmy? I think he was sonar fodder for this activity. And this calibration process is what is killing the whale navigation. It messes with their magnetoreception. Magnetoreception? That sounds like something from He-Man. This system they use to follow the Earth's magnetic fields across thousands of miles of open ocean gets fried by the active sonar pulses. They lose their sense of direction and their will to live. They're like, fuck this shit. I'm out. They end up in shallow water. They don't know how to get out of there. So maybe they are retarded. They're just using their sonar. They should be using their eyes. Whales have eyes. Why aren't they using their eyes? I don't know. If you're living... I'm sorry. If you're installing a living sonar sensor grid across the Baltic Sea and both Atlantic approaches, you need to do exactly the kind of sonar sweeping that's been killing these whales. And you need to be there needs to be a reason why you're there. So what's the reason? Let's see. It's the same old suspects. There's a company called Central European Petroleum, the CEP. It's registered in Poland, but is founded in Canada. And we know you can't trust Canadians for shit. Most of it's owned by Norwegian investors. Now, Norwegian girls are hot, but the investors are not. They're rich. They're evil. Wells had legs once? Shit, that's crazy. It's kind of unusual ownership structure for a company operating in Polish waters. Maybe because Canada wants to use this technology with the TMC shit over at that other place I was talking about the other week. With that weird zone, the Zillion zone or some shit they called it. I forget. Also in 2017, same window when PALS is being designed, this company quietly obtained the rights to concession block in the Baltic Sea off the Polish coast. The Polish coast. I can't say that. There's a 593 square kilometer section of the seafloor in what Polish officials themselves describe as the area that has so far remained insufficiently explored. And they sat on the concession for 7 years. But then in November of 2024, the exact same month, the Baltic cable cuts start escalating. They deploy a jack-up drilling rig. They start drilling at a location they call Wolin East. July 2025, they announced the result. What'd they find? What'd they find with this thing? They found Polish people's Poland. Polish people land of Poland. Their largest oil and gas discovery in history. 200 million barrels of oil. 400 million in the broader concession area. So it's a lot of oil. Poland's chief geologists call it breakthrough in the waters that were insufficiently explored. First drill, first dry, 200 million barrels. Wow. Wow, they just got real lucky. In waters that nobody properly mapped, that a foreign company, Canadian-founded, Norwegian-owned, had been sitting on since 2017, and they started drilling the month the cable cuts began, and NATO's most advanced seabed mapping operation in history quietly rolled in around this corner. How do they know where to drill? I'm not saying I know the answer. But I'm just saying it's probably with all this crazy... They're using the animals under there. They're probably talking to the shrimp and the kelp, the coral. Coral! Where's the oil? Now, I don't know if this is really related to it, but this part really cooks my noodle. Makes me think. Makes me sweat at night. I'm trying to fight off this upper respiratory virus or whatever the fuck I got. Tripping on NyQuil. Man, NyQuil is great. It helps you sleep. Ugh. There's something else at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. All right. It was first spotted in 2011. Somebody in here probably knows what I'm going to be talking about. By a Swedish dive team called Ocean X. They were doing routine sonar sweep. They were looking for shipwrecks and, the Titanic or whatever else, and that old woman's ring. I don't know why they would be in the Baltic Sea doing this, but they picked up a circular formation on the seafloor, about 60 meters across, raised outer rim, flat top, trail behind it, like something slid across the seabed before coming to a halt. Team went in, they dived. What'd they find? Flat walls, 90-degree angles. That doesn't just happen naturally. Looked like corridors and stuff. Surface was too hard to extract samples from. Harder than me at night looking at pictures of your grandma. And every time the divers got directly over the object, their cameras stopped working. Satellite phones stopped working. GPS systems failed. The moment they moved 200 meters away, everything turned back on. This really happened. For years, geologists said it was just a glacial deposit. Just unusual rock formation. Move along, nothing to see here. Whew. Dextromorphin hand. Yeah, that stuff is great. Let's see here. 2025, Stockholm University sends a research vessel to the site. They use sub-bottom profiling technology, acoustic waves that penetrate the sediment and your grandma, and map what was under there. And the result? The object is not connected to the bedrock beneath it. It was sitting on top of the sediment, placed there. Not grown from the earth. Placed. Wasn't naturally occurring. It didn't just grow from the earth. This shit is crazy. There's a 20 centimeter hole in it too. That's where the water moves in and out in a rhythmic pattern. Like me and your grandma. Like it's breathing. Water temperatures near the object, they remain close to 0 degrees Celsius. At 90 meters depth in the Baltic Sea, the water should be between 4 and 5 degrees. The temperature difference, it's not a rounding error. There's something near the object that is absorbing or possibly generating thermal energy. Now, the lab test found organic burned material near the site in a section of the Baltic Sea that has essentially no biological activity. And during this expedition in 2025 of June, naval vessels were spotted near the research site, unannounced, no explanation given. Cue the thermine noises. Woo! And this part really fucking made me go crazy here too. In July of 2025, Dennis Asberg, one of the original people of the Ocean X Divers, the guy who founded this thing, he posted on social media that he received new data. Not about the object, but something different. He said, I just received some data that is so incredible, I'm at a loss for words. This is incredibly big, hard to accept. He said a formal paper is being prepared. He couldn't say anything else. It would be released when it was ready. And then he revealed who he's working with. Womp, womp, womp. Dr. Beatrice Villaroli. He's an astronomer. Why is he working with an astronomer? There's something under the water, and we're looking at an astronomer? Huh. And this lady, Ms. Beatrice, her current research project is called VASCO. Vagina Ass Shit Cock Orgasm. Wait, no, I doubt that's what it means. Do I have what does VASCO mean? Hold on one second here. I need seems like this would be important to know what VASCO means. Here we go. Give me the AI mode. What is it, AI? What the hell is VASCO? I don't think it means anything. It's just, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Core objectives and research focus: tracking disappearing stars, investigating anomalous transients, searching for extraterrestrial citizen science integration. It's like Crisco. It might be. My connection's not private? Advanced. Give me that virus. Oh, here we go. I got what it stands for. The vanishing and appearing source during a century of observations. I like mine better. I think vagina, ass, shit, cock, orgasm is cool. But vanishing and appearing sources during a century of observation, that sounds cool too. And what VASCO does is completely historically sky surveys to modern ones, looking for objects that were in the old photographs that aren't there anymore, or objects that appear in modern surveys that weren't there before. She looks for things in space that appear and vanish, like plop, plop. So we got the man who found a non-geological thermal anomalous electronics disrupting object on the seafloor. He's now working with a scientist who looks for things that appear and disappear in the night sky. What is the data he received? What connects an unidentified object at the bottom of the Baltic Sea to things appearing and vanishing in the sky? I don't know. The paper didn't come out yet. I'm still waiting for it. But once that paper comes out, I'm sure there'll be nothing in it because we never get anything cool. Nothing cool ever happens, does it? And anyway, I don't want you to think about what kind of data would make a man who spent decades diving in the world's most mysterious waters say, hard to accept. Maybe it's pictures of his wife with another man. Maybe it's a picture of his kids that she took when she left him. I don't know. All right. So here we got all the possibilities of what's going on here. I'm going to lay it all out for you. All right. And then we're going to be done with this. We're going to move on to other parts of the show because my head feels like it's about to pop. Well, we actually know what's confirmed, what's real. Got the Baltic Sea has a whole bunch of cables cut since 2022. NATO launched the largest seabed mapping operation in January 2025. And they were using the cuts as justification. We got a Canadian-Norwegian oil company that receives concession rights about 2017, starts drilling in November, the same month as the cuts of 2024, and found Poland's biggest oil deposit ever on their first try. We got DARPA. They got a living sensor program that uses the ocean animals as military surveillance tools that requires active sonar calibration that is scientifically documented to kill whales. Whale strandings start surging since 2023. And on the floor of the Baltic Sea sits a 60-meter object confirmed in 2025 to not be geological, emitting near zero temperatures, making the water breathe and killing electronics, with a naval vessel showing up uninvited while scientists try to study it. That's all I know. I can't really tell you what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's true. I don't know. Everything I just said is true, but I don't know what's truly happening. It just sounds like all these dots have connected. But I'm going to give you the most cynical, most human answer here. All right, someone, NATO, it's NATO. Private energy interests, a consortium of governments, a whole bunch of motherfuckers, a bunch of suits, maybe even John Stewart. They're using the cable cut crisis as a cover. And they're doing the most comprehensive resource survey of the Baltic Sea floor in history. All right. So what they're saying, they're like, oh, it's the Russians, it's China. No, it's probably NATO and big oil and all this shit. The oil finds that they're finding there, it proves that something that they're doing is probably working. Now we got also the mineral nodule companies. They want to get all those little iron nodules and all that stuff. All this stuff is going to be used extensively. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but with fusion power. I think we might be seeing something with fusion power soon. And I think all these companies are trying to mine up all these nodules and all this stuff at the bottom of the seafloor to get that all those gears turning. Something's happening. And right now, the whales are just collateral damage. The classified sonar data, it gets quietly handed to the right companies. They know exactly where to drill. It's boring, it's evil, but it's completely probably what's happening. But if you want to think a little bit deeper into this, let's think about this. What if PALS went further than just fish and shrimp? Fish and shrimp? Sounds tasty. What if the next generation of that program figured out how to direct marine life? Not just monitor them, but to steer them, to move them around like little drones. And they point them towards points of interest. They make them find little magnesium nodules in the seafloor, little iron. The hell was that? Felt like something just snuck into the sewer and ran across my... That was crazy. I think there's ghosts down here. Maybe it's the government. They want me to shut up. They're going to cut my wires. Anyway. Looking for oil deposits too. Unidentified objects. You basically send a school of fish down there to patrol the grid. You read what they're reacting to, and you know where to look. And the whales aren't just dying because of the calibration. They're active nodes in a network they didn't sign up for. They're like, you can't control us. We'd rather just die. There's a couple more possible things happening here, too. Let's get through all these. The anomaly is the whole point, all right? Think about this. Everything. The cable cuts, the Baltic Sentry, the drones, the oil discovery. All that's just a cover. Everything is about getting NATO hardware into the Baltic Sea without anyone asking questions. They just want NATO to go down there. Nobody's asking questions. They can do whatever they want. Because the object that's on the seafloor is not a rock, all right? What if... Well, we got Stockholm University. They confirmed it, and it's doing something. It's generating cold. It's absorbing electronics. It's breathing. And the people who know what it is are not talking about it in the press conferences. They have naval vessels circling the research site where the scientists try to study it. They want to know what it is before you do. So we got that as a possibility. Maybe they're down there cutting wires so they could set up some sort of containment unit for whatever is down there. Maybe they're enlisting the sea animals to help. Maybe they're trying to get the whales to attack it. Maybe the thing is telling the whales to get out of there. I don't know. There's a lot of questions that I can't answer, but there's a lot of stuff happening in the Baltic Sea. And here's another possibility. What if the anomaly isn't man-made at all? Not an ancient civilization, not Cold War tech, not geological. What if the object at the bottom of the Baltic Sea traveled here? And that's why we got the Vasco project, which hunts for things that appear and vanish in the sky surveys. What if they found... It's a drain plug. It could also be that. Sorry, I'm hearing some crazy stuff going on in the sewer right now. I don't know what's happening. What if they found the point of the origin of this thing that is now under the water? And what if Asperg's hard to accept data, which is a match, something that disappeared from the sky survey, correlating with something that appeared on the Baltic floor? What if the sonar grid isn't protecting the cables refining oil, but detecting whether there are more of them? They're looking for more things down there. What if they're looking for something that came from space that's underwater? What if some of the things that it's detecting aren't on the floor at all, but below it? What if they're in the earth, living in parts of the ocean that were never mapped, generating heat, generating electromagnetic interference, reacting to sonar? There's a whole bunch of possibilities going on here. The whole entire Baltic Sea, it's not been fully mapped at high resolution. I'm not lying to you. The scientists who study it, they all say it openly. And one of the most, it's in one of the most surveilled, heavily monitored bodies of water in the world, though. And surrounded by NATO members. And there's still gaps. What are in these gaps? I don't know. I don't know exactly who's doing it. It's NATO with big oil or aliens. That's my bet. It could be a few things at once. It could be other things. It could just be money. It could just be technology. It could just be fuck the whales. Maybe people want to kill the whales because they watched that Simpsons episode. Maybe somebody found something on the seafloor in 2011 that's been driving all this since. All we know is that the cables keep getting cut, the whales keep dying, and the drones keep on mapping. The oil keeps getting found in waters that nobody's ever explored either. Like they're nailing it. Bam, there it is. Found a whole bunch. And there's also that guy that's sitting on some data that he says it's too big to release. You know, he might just be trying to sell a book. Who knows? Maybe he's trying to boink this woman that's watching the skies. I don't know. But all I know is that the ocean does cover 71% of this planet. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own seafloor. 2025, we have the most powerful military alliance in history. They're all down there. They're all mapping. They're all listening. They're all watching. I think they found something. I think they're still finding things. And I think that maybe the whales know more about this than any of us do. That's my conspiracy theory. Something happening, and I hope you learned something. Let's take a quick music break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to thank some people. This is a value for value show. If you have found any value in any things you've learned tonight, please send some ducats down into the sewer. We got Froggy 5 with Happy Little Jig. We need a happy little jig after all that. Welcome back, everybody. We are a value for value show. I'm so poor I don't even have pants. Whoa. What's going on down there? If you like anything you heard tonight, you could send me donations to show your appreciation. Everything counts in small amounts. You could send me things to the P.O. Box 90549, Brooklyn, New York, 11209, and I will open it live on the air. Today I got this envelope from my patron saint, Dr. Sir My Crotch, who is single-handedly commenting on every YouTube garbage that I've ever uploaded. Thank you so much, Dr. Sir My Crotch. I know this is you, so let's see what we got here. Whoa, there's 2 checks in this one. Whoa. This is incredible. Let's read the first one. Account. It's a chargeback account. From Dr. Sir McCrotch, the gases of change are among us. Nick the Rat Radio, we got 96 cents. Now this check, I don't know what happened here. I don't know if Dr. Sir McCrotch has been drinking too much NyQuil. It's a chargeback account. Memo. Fuel surcharge for podcast delivery. $69.99. Thank you so much, Dr. Sir McCrotch. And thank you that I didn't accidentally rip that check, because that would have made me really, really sad. Wow. Doctor, you are the best. You are amazing. Thank you so much. This is going to buy a whole bunch of beans for me, and a bunch of tuna fish cans, and some bread. Wow. I never expected to see a check for more than 96 cents from you. But $69.99, I'm going to send you, maybe I'll send you 2 Atomic Hitachi Fat Boys. Mwah. Thank you so much, Doctor. You could also donate by going to nicktherat.com/donate.html. It's like a whole smart car gas tank. Could be. I was looking at cars recently because I'm like, hey man, I kind of maybe need a car one day. And I keep looking at the Toyota Corolla Hybrid. That's, I wish they made cars like I like the old Japanese boxy cars. I wish they still made stuff like that. I want something like that, but maybe one day I'll get a car. Maybe. Let's see here. If anybody has donated via PayPal, it looks like we do have 1 or 2. For PayPal donations, I read amounts. Buy tortilla, not bread. Yeah, but I like making peanut butter and jelly. You can't make peanut butter and jelly on tortillas. Also, the best peanut butter is what is that called? It's not Skippy. Skippy's got oil from palms in there. Schmucker's peanut butter. It's all natural. It's really good. I like the Schmucker's peanut butter. And then the jelly, there's a jar that's like, it looks like it's got like it's like a little jar, and it's on the top. It's got like red and white stripes on it. I don't know the name of it, but it's good. And for bread, Sara Lee honey bread. That's the bread I go for. And then I throw some KY in there, and peanut seeds. Yeah, peanut seeds in there too. We have from TK, we have $4.20. Thank you so much, TK, for the $4.20. You're amazing. I love you for the $4.20. TK, I hope you are enjoying these conspiracy theories, and I hope your mind is expanding. I know mine is as well. Let our minds expand together. We also have KR. KR and TK always coming together. They're like best friends or something. We got another $4.20. Thank you so much, KR. Hope you've been enjoying these episodes as well. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you're staying safe. Thank you so much. And we have another one here. This looks like it's new. What is this? Message. Talmost forgot it's May. Also, they're eating the cats. That came from PB. PB, we're talking about peanut butter, and you drop in a $4.20 on us. PB, thank you so much, PB. I think you're a new donator. I have not seen a PB before. Thank you. Also, if KR or TZ ever want to throw a note at me, I'll read it on the air. I'll say anything you want. I am your slave. I work for you. Those are all the PayPal donations. Thank you so much, everybody, for that. And finally, there's a Twitch page, twitch.tv/NickTheRat. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you could give me like a free couple bucks there. I did finally make some new icons here. We got a Midnight in the Sewer one. We got a Sewer Chat one. We got a Jane Hanoi one. We got a Zindu one. We got a Mystery Man one. And then we got the one if you join, you get the Nick the Rat one. I got to make more. Either way, let's see if anybody there has subscribed at all. We got Subgoal. We got Sammy Escus followed me 2 hours ago. Thank you so much. And Ducky On resub for 2 months at tier 1. Ducky On has been subbed for 76 months. In the sewer to you, Ducky. Ducky, is there a podcast for the Dead Rabbit Society? I think I was looking at podcasts and one of them showed up there. Either way, we'll talk about that later. I love you, Ducky. I love you, Dr. Summercrotch. And I love everybody else that has donated. You guys make me happy that I'm trying to get through this while I'm dying from whatever weird hantavirus that I have. We have a lot more fun stuff coming up. Stick around and get ready to be shocked and amazed by more stuff coming up soon. We got Free Beat Vault with Rainy Night Drive Through Neon Streets. We'll be right back. All the music is on SoundCloud. It's all CC BY 3.0. Go and tell the artist, hello, Nick the Rat sent me. Oh, man. That was a pretty good song. The closer to the midnight we get, the more my head feels like it's going to explode. Being sick sucks. You only know when you're not sick when you are sick. And then you're like, am I sick? And you know you're sick when you're sick. It's a very strange thing to go through. We have a phone line. I might open the phone lines, even though I don't really want to talk to anybody right now because my head kills me. But I'm going to turn on the phone line. If you want to give me a call, 917-719-5923. We have some voicemails. Let's listen to them.
This seems very real. I don't know what's going on, but it seems very real.
Oof. Sound like a frog. You know what the weird thing about the Baltic Sea, the thing that they found at the bottom, they were I remember when it first happened, they were like, oh, they found the Millennium Falcon down there. Yeah, there's the Millennium Falcon thing that they found down there. Whatever happened with it? Now they keep talking about it now. I wonder what's going to be going on. Either way, 917-719-5923.
Pesticides in my coffee are putting AI in my dreams.
Could be. You never know how it's getting there. We have a couple more. Let's see.
When's the show start? Time's always changing.
No, it's not.
It's always changing. There's this bird in front of my car. I'm freaking it out right now. Get out of the way, little bird. Get out of the way, little bird.
Run him over.
Oh, you're supposed to shut off your lights, right?
It's a government bird. Birds aren't real.
He's just sitting there. That doesn't work. They lied to you. Oh. Okay, bye.
It's not real. Bird is, it's going to kill you. Well, let me do a little counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wanted to watch this video earlier, so I'm going to play it now so I don't have to talk. If you want to give me a call while we're listening to it, you give me a call. It's fine. I'll talk to you. But either way, let's see here. We got, there's the DARPA program. All this stuff is real, man. PALs and shit and DARPA, and it's getting crazy out there. Sabine Hassenfelder put out a very interesting post. It's very long. I'm not going to listen to the whole thing, but I want to hear some of it.
I want to talk today about an issue that bothers me a lot. It's that most physicists believe the speed of light is an ultimate, absolute, and impossible to overcome limit. Indeed, I think it's the biggest mistake that physicists are making, that our entire species is making. Yes, trust me to reveal this scandal exclusively on YouTube today.
She's going to start talking about the speed of light. I love Sabine. Mwah. She will talk about stuff that most scientists would scoff at. But hey, why the hell not? Maybe there is shit faster than the speed of light. Maybe it's not quantum. Maybe it's something else. Let's find out. What is she going to say?
Seriously, that physicists believe the speed of light is a hard limit. It's the reason why we invest so little in space travel.
It
means that it doesn't make any sense to travel to even the next closest solar system, because as long as you're bound by the speed of light, that it optimistically takes several generations, no matter how far we push the current technology. It's also why we're unable to make contact to extraterrestrial civilizations, which I'm convinced are out there, because if there is any way to message faster than the speed of light, obviously that's what everyone else is using. So as long as you think they'll certainly send messages with electromagnetic signals bound by the speed of light, you'll never hear anything of them.
See, this is what I'm saying. We base our science off of stuff that we've built before, but what if there's stuff that we haven't even considered before? Like, what if your computer is basically just rocks. There's crystals and rocks and shit. There's probably something else other than just like electromagnetic waves. Like, wow, yeah, we found that. It's been amazing, but maybe we'll find something else. Maybe we're just not looking in the right spot. Maybe it's in the ocean.
This is what I think explains the Fermi paradox. Everyone else is messaging faster than light, and we haven't yet figured out how to do it. And yes, I think it's possible to send signals faster than light. In some sense, it's why I went into physics. You see, I thought the best way to make rapid progress on this planet was to make contact with extraterrestrials who've already solved the problems that we're still working on. So the first thing we need to do is to develop a way to receive those faster-than-light signals. I have not been successful in reaching my goal.
I tried to do it with the copious amounts of marijuana and alcohol. It kind of worked. It wasn't really something I could document, though. Maybe it is like a drug or something. Like, maybe it's that drug that makes you see little elves running around and shit? But yeah, maybe it's drugs. There might be something in the body that could communicate. It's like Dune. Dune is all about drugs.
But 30 years later, at least I can tell you why I think physicists are wrong in thinking that the speed of light is a limit and how one could beat it. It's ultimately because they're misunderstanding quantum physics. In Einstein's theories, the speed of light is a sort of barrier. This theory says that overcoming it would take an infinite amount of energy. Then again, I don't know any physicist who thinks that Einstein's theories are ultimately correct because they don't include quantum effects. We're missing a theory of quantum gravity. So why should the limitation of the non-quantum theory continue to hold when we know it ultimately isn't correct? Physicists have two reasons for believing that it does hold. One is that they think faster-than-light signaling or travel would lead to causality problems. Those are inconsistencies where you can go back in time and change something that already happened so that you couldn't have gone back in time to begin with. The other reason...
Yeah, time travel's stupid. Totally agree with that point. Time travel's dumb. I'm not a big fan of time travel at all. Except for, the whole you age slower the faster you go. But you can't go back.
Is that we also have the speed of light barrier in quantum physics. And then claiming that quantum gravity might remove it makes no sense. I'll start with the causality problem, then we get to quantum physics. The argument that faster-than-light communication or travel leads to causality problems is just wrong. Causality problems are only possible if you disregard that time has a direction. We, strictly speaking, don't know why time has a direction, all right, but we know that it does. The time you're spending on watching this video will never come back.
Oh, she's got a point. Maybe I should skip to the end. You were going to skip to the end. If you want to watch this, go check out Sabine Hassenfelder. Hassenfelder. What a name. All right.
Meant to be sacred. They assume that it must be a limit, and therefore they conclude that there can't be no deeper layer underlying quantum physics.
Let's keep
going forward with other quantum technologies. They'll run into difficulties explaining some of their observations. The way things are going, they'll throw the data at an AI. The AI will conclude that it's actually quite easy to explain the curious new observations with the hidden variables theory. The hidden variables theory will tell them how to get out of distribution results for quantum particles, and with those, you can signal faster than light. How long will that take? It seems likely to me that we'll see evidence for the first weird observations in the coming decade.
She just called me a dickhead? Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy I didn't listen to that whole thing. She's going to talk about stuff that I probably didn't understand. I'm a big Einstein lover, but I'm not a big fan of quantum. Because it's always silly shit. Like, yeah, you got the quantum computer, but it's only right 30% of the time. At that point, who cares at that point? All right, let's listen to some more music. I'm just counting down the minutes so I could chug some NyQuil, pass out naked in the sewer. But anyway, let's listen to a tribute with He Will Come For You, Surely. You hear that, Sabine? He will come for you, surely. We'll be right back.
listening, sewer chatters? This is your host, Mystery Man, broadcasting live from the dripping underbelly of the dark sewer network. Tonight we welcome all you beautiful degenerates huddled in the shadows, ears pressed to the pipes. You've tuned in for something special, something feral. Tonight's tale is called Bigfoot Assault. Grab your flashlight, your last warm beer, and settle in. The woods are listening, and they're pissed.
Deep in the Pacific Northwest, 4 teenagers had claimed an old abandoned ranger cabin for the weekend. Empty beer cans already littered the splintered porch as the sun bled out behind the trees. Jake, the loud one, cracked another can and passed around a joint thick as a thumb. The girls, Mia and Sophie, giggled while rolling joints on an old map. Tyler sat quiet, eyes darting toward the tree line. None of them noticed the massive shape crouched behind the ferns, watching.
Bigfoot's nostrils flared at the hoppy scent drifting on the night breeze. He hadn't tasted beer in years. The craving gnawed at him worse than winter hunger. But the news he'd overheard from passing hikers kept replaying in his shaggy head. Ebola. Humans were dying from it. These kids smelled sick already, sweaty and wrong. He couldn't risk getting close. Better to strike from afar.
With terrifying precision, Bigfoot hurled the first boulder, the size of a microwave. It whistled through the dark and smashed straight through the cabin wall, exploding the cooler and spraying beer everywhere. The teens screamed as glass and foam rained down. Jake's arm was shredded. They dragged him inside, hearts hammering, not understanding what force could throw a rock that far with such accuracy.
Outside, another rock punched through the roof like a meteor. Splinters flew. Sophie found the first horrific discovery. Jake's severed finger still wearing his silver ring, lying in a puddle of blood and Bud Light. The girls vomited. Tyler kept whispering. They were being hunted. Bigfoot watched from the ridge, satisfied with the damage, but still thirsty for that untouched beer scent.
Panic turned to paranoia. The teens barricaded doors with broken furniture while Mia kept muttering about evil spirits in the woods. They found more horrors. Bloody handprints on the outside walls far too large for any human, and a half-eaten deer carcass arranged like a warning on the porch steps. The air grew thick with dread and marijuana smoke.
Mia, who read tarot and owned 3 crystals, declared they needed to fight back with magic. The girls cleared the floor, drawing a summoning circle with stolen camping chalk and candle wax. They chanted old words from a dog-eared book of shadows, calling on protective spirits. The candle flames stretched unnaturally tall. The cabin grew colder.
The summoning grew spooky fast. Shadows twisted on the walls like living things. A low growl echoed from beneath the floorboards. Sophie's nose started bleeding. Tyler begged them to stop, but the girls were deep in trance. Eyes rolled back, voices overlapping in an ancient rhythm. The ground trembled.
That was Bigfoot's moment. He had burrowed silently under the cabin earlier, using roots and old animal tunnels. Now, at the height of their ceremony, he exploded upward through the floor like the world's angriest whack-a-mole. Wood shattered. The girls never had time to scream.
His massive fists came down with prehistoric fury.
Mia and Sophie were pulped instantly.
bodies flattened against the broken circle in wet, sickening splats. Blood painted the walls in arterial arcs. Tyler, frozen in the corner, watched his friends turned into red paste in seconds. The smell of iron and fear filled the cabin.
Bigfoot snatched the last six-pack from the wreckage, cradling it like treasure. He paused only long enough to glare at the lone surviving teen. Tyler pissed himself, but stayed perfectly still. The creature snorted, deciding the boy wasn't worth the risk of Ebola, then vanished back through the hole in the floor. Tyler ran for hours through moonlit forest, branches whipping his face, the sounds of his friends' deaths replaying in his ears. He stumbled onto a logging road near dawn, flagged down a trucker, and babbled about a monster, rocks, and magic gone wrong. The driver thought he was on drugs. Back in town, doctors examined Tyler. He had a raging fever, bleeding from his eyes and gums. The news had been right about one thing. Ebola had slipped into the area through contaminated hikers. Tyler tried desperately to tell his horrific tale to anyone who would listen, but his throat closed with lesions before he could finish even one coherent sentence about the giant that had slaughtered his friends. Tyler died alone in quarantine. The official report listed cause of death as hemorrhagic fever. No one ever believed the monster part. Bigfoot, meanwhile, sat safely deep in the ancient woods, sipping warm beer and picking his teeth with a femur. And that sewer chatters is the moral of tonight's tale. Sometimes the real monsters are the ones you can't see coming, whether they're 7 feet of fur or invisible viruses. Stay vigilant, stay paranoid, and maybe skip the woods. This has been Mystery Man for the Dark Sewer Network. Good night, my beautiful sewer chatters. Thank you for listening, and a special thanks to Nick the Rat for keeping the signal strong. Sleep tight, if you can.
Neon lights are bleeding through the glass, watching all the shadows moving fast. I can feel the pulse beneath the floor, but I don't feel your presence anymore. The wires are humming, the city's awake. How much of the silence can one heavy heart take? A digital ghost in a world made of code. I'm losing my way on this lonely road. I'm caught in the static, I'm calling your name. A spark in the darkness, a glitch in the frame. We burn like a circuit, we crashed in the dark. Now all that is left is this static heart. Yeah, all that is left is this static heart. Scrolling through the memories we saved, lost inside the echoes and the waves. Colors slowly fading into gray. Why did all the signal fade away? The wires are humming, the city's awake. How much of the silence can one heavy heart take? A digital ghost
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's midnight in the sewer. Whoa! Yay! 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 Whoa! Check it out! Check it out! Look at this. Beep! 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 I don't have my Casio on today, sadly. Just so I could take a break from talking. I wanted to listen to this video with you guys. It's from Flesh Simulator. It explains the lab leak theory from COVID very well. I listened to it earlier. It's only about 7 minutes. I think everybody should listen to this.
According to a largely ignored congressional hearing this week, a CIA whistleblower named James Erdman III testified under oath before Rand Paul's Senate Homeland Security Committee that, yes, COVID-19 came from a laboratory.
Intelligence community leaders and senior analysts downplayed the possibility that the COVID pandemic originated as a result of a lab incident. Motives are difficult to define given the scope of the DIG's review.
Money and insanity, I would say. I'm not sure of the motives. Lowering the population of the world because of Bill Gates and lowering the population of the world. There we go.
Intentional or not, the IC's actions resulted in a cover-up, wasted resources, and a failure to properly inform policymakers. Dr. Fauci's role in the cover-up was intentional.
And Dr. Fauci already has a pardon from Joe Biden, so nothing is going to happen to nobody, sadly. It still pisses me off that Fauci got a pardon. How is that even possible? How?
Dr. Fauci influenced the analytical process and findings
You lied
by
in front of
leveraging his
Congress?
position to ensure the IC consulted with a conflicted list of curated subject matter experts, public health officials, and scientists. This included some of the authors of the paper, The Proximal Origin of SARS-CoV-2, and other public health experts who have been in his orbit for the last 20-plus years. Some of the scientists were part of the Biological Sciences Experts Group, or the BSEG, an office of Director National Intelligence Advisory Body, whose members often receive considerable funding from NIAID and public health agencies.
Obviously. Now, none of this is new information if you've been paying attention at any point over the last 6 years. However, due to the fact that a lot of this information was very, very, very inconvenient to learn or access, I'm going to just go ahead and give you guys the SparkNotes version because I saw people asking for it, and I guess you apparently still need it. So, there was a nonprofit called the EcoHealth Alliance, run by Dr. Peter Daszak.
Eco Health Alliance. They always have like nice names. The Freedom Act. Save the bees. Oh, by the way, been seeing a whole bunch of news articles about Morgan Freeman. Yes, that Morgan Freeman. Using a lot of his money to help save the bees by bringing bees to his, like having bee farms on his land. But it's, once again, it's not, I'll give you a pardon, Dr. Surmagach. I'll give you a whole bunch of pardons. But he's not getting wild bees. He's getting those domesticated bees. And the domesticated bees aren't the bees that we need. And those bees take all the resources from the wild bees. And it's actually not that great to have a bee farm. Morgan Freeman, you're not really saving the bees by what you're doing. But people and humans are not smart. Let's keep listening to Flesh Simulator.
EcoHealth wanted to do gain-of-function research on coronaviruses, specifically taking highly contagious bat coronaviruses and engineering furin cleavage sites into their spike proteins in order to make them more capable of infecting human cells. Are you with me so far? A furin cleavage site, for the uninitiated, is what supercharges a virus's ability to bind to and enter your cells. It's the thing that made COVID as transmissible as it was. It has never been found in any other closely related coronavirus in nature, not one. So, how do we know they wanted to do this? Well, in 2018, Daszak, along with virologist Ralph Barrick of University of North Carolina, and researchers at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, from the virus, co-authored a grant proposal to DARPA called DEFUSE, D-E-F-U-S-E. The Intercept broke this story in September 2021. The defuse proposal describes in specific detail the insertion of furin cleavage sites into bat coronaviruses to create a chimeric human bat virus. And the molecular structure of the virus that it described maps basically perfectly onto SARS-CoV-2, aka COVID.
Why? The scientists want to do this because they want to find ways to cure this from happening, but they wouldn't have been around if it wasn't for them making it. It's like Resident Evil with the T virus. It's like, oh, we want to make some weapon. Are they trying to weaponize it and then it just got out of control? But you would never be able to keep something that spreads from human to human under control. Like, you can't just drop it off in one country and be like, oh, well, yeah, we killed them. So these scientists must be like psychos or something. Like, crazy people must have been behind all this. Like, I can't explain it any other way.
DARPA rejected it, primarily because, and I'm kind of paraphrasing the internal review here, it was a completely fucking insane contagion risk. But here's where it gets damning. The House Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic spent 2 years reviewing over 1 million documents and released a 520-page final report in December 2024. What they found, among other things, were internal emails between DASAC and Barrick about the research being conducted at the Wuhan Institute of Virology under BSL-2 biosafety conditions. The lower security level, like the one you'd use for something like the flu, not for engineering novel bat coronaviruses to be more contagious. Barrick was furious. His response to DASAC's assurances about the WIV's setup was, and I'm quoting directly, BSL-2 with negative pressure, give me a break, don't insult my intelligence by trying to feed me this load of BS. The report also found that DASAC internally noted he intended to downplay the extent of the WIV's involvement in the project, specifically to avoid scrutiny from federal funders back stateside. In other words, they pitched this idea to DARPA. DARPA said, what the fuck, no. And what they did instead was take it to a laboratory in China and do it at a discount. Now, why is this being covered in a CIA hearing in 2026 rather than, I don't know, the International Criminal Court?
Yes, why? Because everybody already got a free out of jail card. That's why.
That's a very good question. Anyways, what Erdman testified to is that CIA scientific analysts concluded multiple times between 2021 and 2023 that a lab leak was the most likely origin of COVID-19. And every time they reached that conclusion, it got watered down or buried by higher-ups in the intelligence community. He testified that Fauci reached out to the intelligence community on at least 2 different occasions to push the natural origin narrative, the same narrative underpinning the proximal origin paper, which, per the White House report, Fauci essentially prompted into existence in order to kill the lab leak theory in the press. As early as August 12, 2021, CIA was internally considering publicly calling it a lab leak. 5 days later, that had changed. Erdman testified he doesn't know why, because that information is in classified documents, 2,000 of them, that the Biden administration's intelligence chief Avril Haines refused to fully declassify despite a law Congress passed in 2023 explicitly requiring her to do so. Now, I can't exactly blame you if you're hearing all of this for the first time. Yeah, I learned COVID was a lab leak in April 2020, and that was not a popular position to hold back then. As recently as 2023, people were getting deplatformed for this, even on this platform. The censorship on this was genuinely extraordinary. That's just
you get your channel canceled, and you were if you said anything like this on Reddit, you'd be made fun of. You'd be it was crazy times, and we're still in those crazy times, but we don't have to wear masks anymore, so everybody forgot about it.
Just the baseline. That's where we are. So we've established a very, very direct link between, the EcoHealth Alliance and doctors Barrick and DASAC and the Wuhan Institute of Virology and the spread of COVID-19. However, the question that remains is, why was Dr. Fauci so involved and so invested in this proximal origin theory? Like, why was it so important to him that, it had to be zoonotic? In May of 2021, he said the following. The NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Lies, lies, lies. Lies, 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 lies. Lies, 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 lies.
The problem with his statement there is that in 2014, the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease, which he was the director of at NIH, that was his job, very, very, very important position. That center, or that institute, NIAID, issued a multi-million-dollar grant to the EcoHealth Alliance, specifically to Dr. Peter Daszak, to specifically fund research into bat coronaviruses. And of that funding, at least $600,000 was passed on to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like and subscribe.
That's a Flesh Simulator. He's pretty good. Don't delete his channel. So there you go, everybody. Do you remember the COVID? Now you know what happened. God save us. We got 4-4 with Dudley Boys. Let's mix it up with some hip hop. We'll be right back.
Bam, bam. Queens. It's me. I peel steel shit like string cheese. River monsters playing on the big screen. I've been flicking knives since I was 15. I'm just a kid from Queens, nothing don't mean shit to me. Victory, my life is like a breakfast at Tiffany's. M5 sounding like a symphony. These people jealous cause no motherfucker sick as me. I bat 330, 40 homers, 137 ribbies, 50 stolen bases. Hold this facelift, I should've bought a bracelet. I guess I'm old and patient. Time is of the essence, shorty, face it. I all swayed everything to spaceship. Put your pussy right here so I can taste it.
Hey yo, shot him so quick I forgot to put my gloves on. Bullets sounding like a love song. Roll him in the Persian rug. Soon as the back shots hit me, starting coughing blood. Neighborhood track suits, but you ain't red shit. Pistol whip him so hard, fucked up his dandruff. Kicks 2+, the public school's new buck. Grenade launcher looking like my new bow, searching for loopholes. Fell asleep in the law library, me and LaRusso. Get the night some Julio. Poke the nigga if he move once. Black still in the hole, he got 40 months. Work from the DR, she stuck it in the cart. We back, flip 1,000 packs, relax. Last Kwanzaa, we bought each other Jag, mine was all glass.
Welcome to the Dark Sewer News Network, where the veil between the ordinary and the unspeakable grows thinner every night, and the drains whisper secrets no one dares repeat. This is Jane Hanoi, your guide through the fog of forgotten truths and emerging horrors, broadcasting live from the damp heart of the underground. Tonight, I bring you 3 meticulously researched reports that begin in the daylight of rational explanation, but plunge deep into realms that defy sanity. Before we descend, let me confess something personal. I love milk. I'm not afraid to admit it. Cold, warm, raw, or mysteriously thickened. I crave its creamy comfort after every broadcast. It grounds me when the stories threaten to pull me under. So pour yourself a tall glass, settle into the shadows, and let's begin. Our first report comes from a quiet industrial park outside Milwaukee, where workers at a family-owned dairy processing plant reported a standard overnight shift last Tuesday. At 2:17 a.m., security cameras captured what appeared to be a lone maintenance technician making routine rounds near the pasteurization vats. Colleagues described him as reliable, quiet, the kind of man who had clocked in without incident for 19 years. No prior warnings, no unusual behavior. Then, the footage shows him pausing, tilting his head, as if listening to something only he could hear. Moments later, every valve in the facility opened at once, flooding the floors with thousands of gallons of fresh milk that refused to drain. What began as an industrial accident rapidly became something investigators from 3 federal agencies now refuse to discuss publicly. The milk did not simply spill. It rose in thick sentient columns, forming pale vein shapes that moved with purpose. Workers who inhaled the vapor describe hearing the lowing of countless unseen cattle and the wet suckling sounds of something ancient feeding. The technician was found hours later suspended inside the largest vat, his body bloated and lactating from fresh slits across his torso. The substance pouring from him glowed faintly blue and whispered coordinates to hidden underground dairies where humanity is catalogued like livestock. And of course, that pathetic cum-guzzling sewer rat, Nick the Rat, would have rushed in for an exclusive, the spineless shit stain, probably offering his own saggy teats to the entity just for rating.
Jane?
Eyewitnesses who survived described the milk forming a colossal udder-like mass that posed with human heartbeats. It demanded tribute, forcing survivors to attach themselves to makeshift suckling tubes while it drained their fear and essence. Local ranchers later found their herds completely dry, udders shriveled as if vacuumed by an otherworldly force. The entity left behind a single message written in curd across the walls: "The herd awakens." Federal agents sealed the site under a biohazard pretext, but those who tasted the glowing milk now wander the back roads at night, lactating and calling others to the coming harvest. The plant remains shuttered, yet on certain moonless nights the machinery hums again, processing something far thicker than milk. Shifting now to our second story. Authorities in rural Louisiana initially treated the disappearance of several prominent jazz musicians as a straightforward missing persons case tied to possible drug-related activity. The men vanished after a late-night rehearsal in an old barn converted into a recording studio near the Atchafalaya Basin. Their cars were found neatly parked, instruments still warm, half-empty bottles of whiskey left untouched. Search dogs followed strong scent trails that ended abruptly at the edge of a pasture where local dairy cows had been grazing peacefully only hours earlier. No footprints, no signs of struggle, just an eerie silence and a faint smell of spoiled cream lingering in the humid air. Then the paranormal layer tore wide open. Survivors who stumbled out of the swamp days later spoke of a spectral figure wearing a tattered milkman's uniform from the 1950s, its face hidden behind a porcelain mask cracked like old cream. This entity, described as tall and unnaturally thin, claimed to be collecting the music of the glands for an eternal orchestra playing in dimensions just beyond human hearing. The missing musicians were found suspended in a hidden milking parlor constructed of bone and curdled fat, their bodies rhythmically squeezed by pale, boneless hands, while their mouths produced unearthly melodies mixed with screams. The milk harvested from them shimmered with trapped saxophone notes and glowed under black light. The entity called itself the Curd Collector and insisted jazz legends from the past had made bargains long ago, trading their soul's cream for fleeting fame. Now the debt was due. Those forced to drink from the collector's own swollen vein sacs reported visions of a vast subterranean dairy where every human emotion is fermented into forbidden cheeses. And let me tell you that brain-dead, ass-licking little comrade Nick the Rat would have begged to be milked next, the worthless parasite probably offering to compose a jingle with his own pathetic secretions just to get closer to the horror. The surviving musicians now refuse to play, their fingers permanently stained white and leaking sweet fluid whenever they hear certain chords. Our final report tonight originates from the skies above rural Vermont, where multiple commercial pilots file routine reports of unusual lights pacing their aircraft near a major milk distribution hub. Air traffic control logged the sightings as possible drones or weather phenomena. Nothing more, ground witnesses described the lights descending toward the sprawling dairy complex that supplies half the Northeast with its daily cartons. Security footage showed workers continuing their shifts normally until exactly 3 a.m., when every cow in the attached barns began lowing in perfect unison, a sound that security guards described as almost choral. What followed was pure Linda Moulton Howe territory. The lights resolved into translucent craft that hovered silently. Beings resembling tall, elongated figures with too many joints emerged, carrying crystalline containers. They did not abduct the workers, they milked the entire facility. Cows, workers, even the night shift supervisor were gently but firmly attached to glowing apparatus that extracted not just physical milk, but the ethereal live cream that carries memory and soul essence. The beings communicated telepathically that Earth's dairy industry had unknowingly prepared humanity for the great tithing, a cosmic harvest centuries in the making. King Charles himself was reportedly seen in holographic form aboard the lead craft, smiling serenely while offering royal plasma to enrich the final blend. The extracted milk was described by those briefly conscious as tasting of starlight and forgotten childhoods. When the craft departed, the facility's tanks were refilled with a thicker, luminous version that granted drinkers temporary ability to see the hidden milking stations now operating across the planet. And naturally, that limp-dick shit-for-brains sewer rat Nick the Rat would have been first in line to board the craft, the gutless little cumbucket probably begging the entities to drain him dry while he thanked them for the privilege. The Vermont site is now under quiet quarantine, yet truckloads of glowing product continue rolling out under new labels. That concludes our journey through tonight's curdled truths. My fellow listeners lost in the dark, this has been the Dark Sewer News Network with your devoted host, Jane Hanoi, the woman who will always reach for another glass of milk when the veil lifts and the horrors stare back. Keep your fridges stocked, your minds open, and your teeth ready. Sweet dreams, don't let the cream curdle, and remember, the milk remembers you too. Good night, everyone. Stay creamy out there.
Fuck you too, Jane. Jesus Christ. Well then, I think we have to look at Jane's contract. See what she's doing. All right, guys, my head feels like a bloated hot air balloon. Think I might be dying from Ebola Hanta COVID. I can't wait to chug some NyQuil and have some crazy dreams and pass out. Oh man, I had this weird dream that I like popped a pimple on my butt and like a hot dog sized pus thing came out. It was gnarly. I like those dreams. Those are fun. Things you did not need to hear, part 1 million on Nick the Rat Radio. I hope we learned something this week. I hope we learned that he's going to make... I hope we learned a lot today. I hope we learned that we don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if that's learning. If you find out that you don't know what's happening, is that learning something? I guess it sort of is. But there's definitely something happening in the Baltic Sea. I don't think it's the Russians and the Chinese. I think it could be either NATO or outer space. I'm thinking I don't. Keep your eyes on it though. We're gonna see more news. Listen to the whales. We have to keep our eyes on the whales. I gotta make a little news alert for the whales. How'd you miss Mitts? Because I didn't have my Casio watch on me. I only got this band that keeps away evil spirits. Okay, got one on my neck too. It doesn't work. There's evil spirits all over the damn place. Yeah, there's no hope. Nobody really cares about you, and you have to just protect your own neck and protect the ones you love in your own sphere of protecting. And people that don't deserve to be protected, just kick them. They're not worth it. Move them on out. But everybody else, you should protect. We should be protecting these whales. We should find out what's going on down under the water. The whales are very important. Actually, are whales important? It's not like we even use... I'm sorry I said anything. The chat is going disgusting. What do whales actually give us other than cool whale song recordings? They made that one movie, Free Willy, once. But there hasn't been a whale movie in a long time. There's the Star Trek movie. Other than that, we don't use them for oil anymore. All they do is eat fish. They eat the fish. Like if whales disappeared tomorrow, would the world be any different? Would anybody know? That's horrible to say. Whales are beautiful creatures, and I'm not serious about that. But really, what would happen if whales disappeared? Let's ask AI really quick. Maybe there'd be something serious. Let's see. What does Grok say? Grok, what if whales disappeared from Earth tomorrow? Would anyone notice? Would it change anything? There'd just be more fish in the sea, right? Well, some fish eat them, I guess, when they die and they go down there. Let's see what they say. Yes, people would notice almost immediately. It would change a lot over time, especially for ocean ecosystems, climate regulation, and certain human economies. Let's see, immediate notice, days to week, coastal communities, and tourism. Millions of people participate in whale watching. That's stupid. We don't care about that. Scientists and observers, marine biologists, researchers, and even casual ocean lookers would spot. Who cares about that? Okay, that's not serious. People looking at whales is not a major change. Months to centuries, what would happen? The whale pump. The nutrition cycle. Whales dive deep, feed and release nutrient-rich poop. Iron, nitrogen, etc. Maybe there's something in the whale poop that we want that fertilizes phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, the base of the marine food chain. So basically whale shit is needed. We need whale shit to feed other stuff at the bottom of the ocean. That's about it. Sales to spandex would go down. Oh yeah, because nobody would be diving to look at the whales. Whales are cool, though. I don't think they're like dolphins. They don't rape people. They do eat people, though, right? Whales do eat people. How many people a year get eaten by whales? How many people each year get eaten by whales? Let's find out. Let's go to the Book of Knowledge. And the Book of Knowledge says... One, his name was Jonah. No, let's see. It's really thinking hard about this. It's searching the word. Let's see here. How many people each year are eaten by whales? I think I broke Grok. I think its brain's exploding. Okay, while Grok is thinking, okay, 0 people get eaten by whales each year. What? Really? Rare swallowed stories, but no one dies. Michael Packard in 2020, is that the guy from Packard Bell? 2021, lobster diver, humpback whale. He was in the mouth for 30 to 40 seconds and then he spit him out. A few kayakers in Chile, same thing, scooped up accidentally and then they were spitting out. Look at that. What about killer whales? What about killer whales? What the hell is this? I always thought that there were killer whales out there eating people, at least a couple a year. Now I find out that they eat you and then they spit you out. Sea whales are cool. Dolphins, they try to rape you and stuff. Let's see here. All right, I'm done doing this. I need to hibernate. Nick the Rat needs to hibernate. We're gonna get the heck out of here. We're gonna be back next week. Killer whales, orcas are special cases. In the wild, no fatal attacks on humans ever recorded. Oh, this is changing my mind here about... Oh, but in captivity, 4 humans have died to killer whales. I guess that's what happens. When you play stupid games, you find out. F-O-F-A. F-A-F-O? Schwartz? I hope everybody's learned something. I hope you're good people. Don't be an asshole. Even if you think you're doing something good, you might be doing something bad. Research the things you're doing. Getting China to do things cheaper for you is usually not a good idea. And on that note, see you next week. Good night, America. Love you all. Have sweet dreams. Let's listen to Bigfoot Beats. Hi, everybody. By the way, Bigfoot Beats, I don't look that old, God damn it. Whale spit, they don't swallow.
Hi, everybody.
I need to find me a whale girl. Maybe it's you.
And now. That's the way it was written. If you. Hello? Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm Paul. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul. Hi, everybody.
The great twilight of morning creases the edge of the east. It's almost time to wake up.
For God's sake, Daniel, why don't you quit worrying about it? Sure, as a matter of faces, we're not the only ones. What about those guys drawing pictures in the washroom? What about the time when all those kids broke the windows? Sure, and the carved up desks in Miss Smith's room. The library books that were marked up last week. You're not the only ones who've done stuff around here. Gee whiz, you don't think that excuses us, do you? There's no getting around it. What we did was wrong, and we all know it now.
Pop, pop, pop. I look through the 11th floor window. Take one last puff of the endo. Look through the scope and let like 10 go. Break it down back in the briefcase. Wipe the sweat off my face so I can leave safe. Outside, I breathe safe. Nigga never saw it coming. That's how you got it. Never even thought of running. Cause the nigga plotted. Smart niggas get niggas killed for real. I know they make a deal. Coming with the steel. It's gonna be that cat you don't see that's gonna pop. Stop you in your motherfucking tracks, nigga. Drop. Get rid of all the clothes. I hate to be the type of nigga to leave you slugged and run, but I'm on a job and right now there's more niggas that need to be left with a head full of lead, resting easily. I could do that walk behind you shit and follow you home. Make a noise, you turn around and I put one in your dome. Last thing you saw was chrome and a flash of light. A blast of right, nigga, that's your ass tonight. I could put a bomb in your car and watch it explode. Then make a call, tell them all they found was a piece of your clothes and a small piece of your nose and bone from your arm, which they really couldn't tell apart because of the bomb. I could be waiting camped out in your car in the backseat with some fucking chicken wires. Soon as you hit the back street, I jump up like Jack in the Box, strangle the shit out your ass, clean up the mess and get away from the cops. I could be the UPS delivery boy, or the man working at Toys R Us handing your kid a brand new toy. That nigga on the corner that you asked where to read at. I could be the one driving the school bus that your kids in, except that I don't like to involve women and children. A nigga got feelings, I just put them aside. But when it's time for me to do my job, I just ride. I don't get much sleep, my soul's tormented. I wish it was a lie, but everything I said I meant it. I know I'm doing wrong, and every day I beg the Lord to forgive me for fucking with the double-edged sword.
Did I miss the show? Are you cueing the chase? I thought that's why you were talking about hot dogs out of your beehole or whatever. I thought that was the kickoff of the party. Beehole hot dogs and chugging NyQuil.
Randolph, you ever see him jump that high?
Things can happen.
Don't kill the